Yeah, hello. How's everyone doing today? My name is George Abdelmessih. I am the head of sales here at Financial Sense. And first, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the new year already. And thank you guys for joining us here on the call. Uh, for those of you that don't know, I generally do these demo days uh, every so often where we'll come in. I'll actually demo the product for you guys, show you a little bit about how Financial Sense works, the different functions that we have, talk about some of the different plans. And at the very end, I do want to make sure that I'm leaving plenty of time to allow you guys to ask questions. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of the platform and kind of go into some of the different functionality and features that we offer. But at the same time, I do want you guys to be able to ask questions. So a couple of housekeeping things real quick. If you guys look over on the right-hand side of your screen, you should see a couple little features. The first one's going to be the chat. If you guys will, go ahead and put a message in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can see me as well. And also, I always like to ask where you guys calling in from, just so that I kind of understand what region you guys are in as well. But if y'all can, go ahead and put those in that chat over on the right-hand side now. While you're doing that, you guys will also see that just underneath the chat, there's a Q&A button. And if you click on that, you can actually come in and put in your questions and or put in questions there. That's where I will be going to look for questions at the end of or throughout the call and throughout the demo. So please make sure you guys are putting your questions there because otherwise I will miss them. So I do have Tosin, who's on the call with me, and I believe Simone, who's here from my team as well, that'll be there to hopefully help me make sure I don't miss any questions. But we'll go ahead and kind of get us started. So I do see Arlene's coming in from Alberta, Canada. Nice. It's a pleasure to have you on. We've been in Alberta a few times actually recently. So looks like Tosin and Simone, Tosin coming in from California, Simone coming in from Texas, both of which are on my team. So, and let's see. That's it for now. All right. So I see we've got a few other people in here as well, but I'll go ahead and get us started. And anyone else that joins us late can come in, ask their questions. Hopefully they will put it in the Q&A so I don't miss them. Otherwise, Tosin, keep me honest. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's go with the entire screen. All right, so you guys should be able to see my mouse moving around. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can. Let me know that you guys are seeing that. All right, appreciate it. So talking about Financial Sense, when we first look at the platform, to understand Financial Sense, you need to understand that we started off as a workflow management tool. So the platform itself is built to provide you guys with a better workflow option throughout, and being able to manage your work, being able to manage who's working on what within your team. But we have tons of other functionality, right? So there is a client portal that's going to be attached to this. There is the ability to build directly through here. There's also the ability to look at uncategorized transactions. You have a CRM that's built in to understand different information that you want to know about your clients, being able to have a single source of truth to be able to go back and find that information about your clients instead of having to go to multiple different sources. But this page that we're looking at right now, this is the page that the system's generally going to take you to when you first log in. You'll notice up here at the top, you're able to put in your logo. So it'll have your logo in here. It'll be branded with your color scheme. That way you and your employees plus your clients will be able to see your logo. It'll look like your platform because that's what it is, right? It's going to be your tool. But the page that we're looking at right now, this is what we call the workflow dashboard, okay? The idea behind this page is to give you a full understanding of what's happening throughout the organization, while you're when you actually come in here. So I can see everything going on as the owner. I've got full visibility. As an employee, I might only have visibility to the things that I need to be working on. So I can actually clearly understand what work needs to be done and when is it due. Is it overdue, right? Or is there not a due date on here? You notice if it's not a due date, it's up here at the top. It's because that's not normal in y'all's industry, bookkeeping and accounting, because everything's got a due date. So we put those up at the top to say, hey, there's something going on. We don't know what the due date is on this one yet. So we're going to put it up at the top so you don't miss it. And then anything that's overdue, you're going to see is going to be in red. Anything that's due today, tomorrow, next week, we're going to see is going to be in black. And you'll even notice, like on this one here, there's a little yellow dot letting me know that this one was originally due on October 18th, but this one's on extension. So we extended it to January 9th. So we can actually come in here and quickly, easily see that, right? And we don't have to go searching for it. You'll also notice that there's an internal due date, start date, right? We have the client tasks feature where you can actually see if you've requested information from the clients, you'll see that it shows waiting on client. And then it shows you how many items you've requested and how many of them you got back. So like in this case, I requested 1, I got nothing back so far. Versus this case, I've requested 6 and I've gotten 1 item back. All right. You'll also see that there is a team chat feature where I can actually click on here and see the communication that's happened between me and my team members. And I can actually use the @ symbol to come in here and actually find a specific team member and message them about this project, right? And it sends them a direct message. They get notified. They're going to be able to see that I sent them a message directly about their about this project. And if anything I put in here, so I'll put my spell right, but there you go. They'll see that that message came through, and now we see that we have 2 messages on here, whereas like this one we have 4. The rest of these we don't have any on there, but if you hover over it and click on it, you can actually create that message right then and there. You don't have to go too deep into the project to actually see this communication. You're also going to see over here on the left, this is where it really becomes important, because this is the idea behind this page, guys. It should tell you a story. I should be able to look at this and understand that for Adeline Collins, we're working on our payroll, and it's currently in preparation. We've completed 6 out of the 9 tasks, right? But like this one, I can actually see that for DRC, we're working on his monthly bookkeeping for September 2024. It's a recurring project, meaning we're doing it every month, right? We're archived documents. We're waiting on the client to get us some information back. We've completed 11 out of the 14 total tasks. We've communicated about it 4 times. We've requested 6 items. We only got back 1, right? The start date on this was October 21st or October 1st. We don't have an internal due date set on this one, but we do have the actual due date, which was due October 20th, right? And then I can also look at this and tell whose desk is the work sitting on right now. Like this project is currently sitting with Abdullah and Carolina, from what I can tell here, right? So if I go into the actual project, I'll see that the task that we are on is sitting on both Abdullah and Carolina's desk, right? So we're just waiting on them to complete these things. And then once they've completed this, right, they check these things off. We can actually go ahead and that project can be marked. Oh, keep clicking the wrong spot, right? We can complete this task out, and then I can actually complete these tasks. Once we're done with all of these, you'll actually see the project itself is completed, right? And so we can actually complete all that. And over here, if the client had actually gotten us all of our information back, you would have seen that that waiting on client tag would have gone away, and it would even change out to client info received. Okay. So we can actually customize this and automate this in multiple different ways. I will also show you guys to start off to create a project. We actually have the ability to do so very easily by creating a new project in here. I can do it from a template. In this case, I'll come in and I'll create a monthly bookkeeping. And I've got multiple different types of templates. You guys can save different ones. I'm going to actually use this one here. I can create it for a single client or for multiple clients at the same time. Okay. And when you create it for multiple clients, you actually have the ability to create it using groups. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But you can see here that I'm saying, hey, I'm going to create this monthly bookkeeping for Adeline. we're going to start this on February 1st. I can set my due date to whatever I want it to be. So if I'm starting that one February 1st, I'll say it needs to be due February 20th. I can go and tell it how often to recur this. If I want it to recur every month, every week, every 2 weeks. If I want a custom setting, I can come in and actually set my different custom settings to either daily, weekly, monthly. I can tell it, every 2 months, every 3 months, however often I want, on what day of the month, or I could say on the first Monday of every month, whatever I want it to be. Okay. I'm not going to set this one as a recurring because this is a demo, but I can also come in and set my accounting period. So in this case, I'll come in and say, hey, we're doing this monthly bookkeeping. This is for January 2025. So when I go ahead and apply that, right, we'll see that it's going to now let me go ahead and assign the employees that need to work on this. So by default, I have this project set up to be assigned to Carolina and Sharam. I can come in and adjust that, say, hey, I actually want that to be Adam and myself. So when I hit create, it creates the project with the tasks that we need, the tasks that we need the client to do, and then it assigns Adam the bookkeeper tasks, assigns me the reviewer tasks, and then goes back over here to Adam to close out the books, right? Which is another bookkeeper task. Okay. I have different integrations that I can have, and you see that those integrations are already set. So, in this case, Google Drive, this will take me straight to Adeline Collins folders and QuickBooks. I'm sorry, Google Drive. Same thing with the OneDrive, Smart Vault, the QuickBooks. It'll take me straight to that client in QuickBooks. So we see we have different integrations. I didn't have to go set those up. I set them up once, and every time thereafter, it's automatically set. It knows where to take me. It makes it really nice and simple for me. Okay. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about here inside the project. You have two different. You notice I have multiple sections in here, right? I got this client section, then I got a team section, and then I have another client section, right? These client sections, there's two types of sections, the client and the team, right? And these can be named whatever you want. You can actually come in here and adjust these names, right? And when I create the template, I can have them pre-named however I want. But the difference is the type of work that's happening. This is something that I'm going to send to the client and ask the client to do something back. Whether it's I need them to upload something, I need to send them something, I need them to go schedule a meeting, I need them to go do something in another platform. This is where we're going to tell the client what we need them to go do. Okay. The team tasks is where I'm going to tell my employees that, hey, I've assigned this work to you and I need you to go do this. So in this case, we need Adam to go prep the accounts payable. We need him to review the accounts receivable. We need him to reconcile the accounts. Okay, we can customize all that. Cool thing about the way the templates work is best way I found to describe this, think about it kind of like a builder who's building a new neighborhood. Generally, they have some kind of a model home in the front. Your templates are nothing more than the floor plans for the different houses that they can show you, right? So they can say, hey, we can build all these different floor plans. They're usually showing them to you on a piece of paper saying, here's where that, floor plan, this is what the floor plan looks like. Same thing here. This is your floor plan. This is what you are picking, okay? That being said, once you pick that floor plan, just like with the builder, they're going to send you the design center afterwards. Here, we're going to be able to say, hey, come in now and start customizing this, right? So I need to reconcile accounts. For this particular customer, we know we have 5 accounts we need to reconcile. So I can actually click on here and start adding subtasks and tell it, Chase account ending in 0011. Maybe add another one, Chase savings. And so on, right? I can go add the Wells Fargo accounts, add whatever accounts I need. But the idea here is now my team knows exactly for this client, these are the things we need to go do, right? And I can actually come in and I can add other tasks within here. I can, assign those to different employees. If I need to reassign this from Adam to someone else, sorry. It's really easy to just click on here and say, hey, let's go ahead and assign that to Alexis instead. But I can actually add multiple people on here if need be. So you can assign the work out as needed is the idea, right? And of course, I can create the things that I need from this client. Maybe for this client, we also need to go ahead and ask them for their bank statement, right? Or their loan statement. So when I come in here and add that in, when I'm ready to send this out, you notice that this is already showing as scheduled, because on the template, I told it send it out X amount of days after the start date, right? So in this case, it's going to go out on the 10th because I've got it set out to go 3 days after we start the project. I wanted to send out the request to the client, right? So where now I can go ahead and say schedule the, in this case, I told it 10 days after the start date. So this is set up for February because the work isn't starting until February, right? But we can go ahead and send it out now if we want. We can go ahead and have that set up as a schedule. Or on the scale plan, you have the ability to say, once we've completed this section, then send it out, right? So I can actually have these different sections, and like I said, we can name them different things. Those names are going to populate over here, and we can tell it once this section is complete, then send this out, right? If we want to. So it's completely up to you guys. If I do go ahead and send it out now, you're going to see I'm able to select which contact at the client site I want to get this notification. And I'm going to be able to come in here and just say send out now. So the client on their end is going to receive that request list, right? So since the client's going to get that request list, if we look on the client side in their email, they're going to see that request list that comes through. And this is the one that I just sent, right? So when the client comes in and hits view and manage tasks, it's going to send them a verification code. And I can send this either via email or via text message. I've got mine going through email just because of the demo environment that we're in. But they're going to be able to grab that verification code and get into the platform, right? And so then now the client can come in here and they can actually upload their documents, right? So I'm just uploading some random documents here. You notice, though, that as the client is uploading documents, the system is telling the client, make sure you mark these as completed when you're done. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting reminders because the system is set up on the scale plan, which is the plan I'm on. It's set up to automate reminders going out. In this case, I have it set up to automate them every 5 days, right? So once I send this request out, if the client hasn't completed any of those tasks, the tasks that they have not completed, they're going to get a reminder about it every however many days I select here. Okay. So in this case, every 5 days, right? Or I could say send it out every 2 days, right? And then the client's going to get a reminder saying, hey, we still need you to complete these 3 tasks. Or if I'd already completed these, right, it would only send out for these 2. Okay. So pretty nice functionality to be able to do that. And again, on the client side, as they complete the work, they can just hit mark complete and it'll mark it complete for them, right? They're going to get confetti letting them know, hey, great job, you completed that. You'll also see that in the client portal, there's some other functions here. We've got the request feature, which is what we're looking at right now, right? But there's also the documents feature, which allows them to come in and see the folders that we've granted them access to. Okay. You guys will also notice that on this particular client, they got access to multiple different clients because this particular contact that we're signed in as right now may have the ability to access multiple clients if they're the ones that are listed on that client profile. A great example of this is when you have a single owner who has multiple businesses, they're able to actually access multiple businesses without having to go in and re-log in multiple times. Right? They can come in and just pick the work that they need to work on or the client that they need to get information from, right? Or the company, rather, they need to get information from. There's also a chat feature, so the client can actually communicate with you back and forth. There's also the uncategorized transactions feature, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then there's also the billing function where they can see any outstanding invoices and they can come in here and actually pay their invoices directly to you. Okay? They can use credit card or bank transfer. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit as well. Okay. All right. So kind of coming back over here, we're going to see the client actually uploaded their documents. And let me refresh this so we can actually see it listed here. You see the client uploaded all these documents. We see here we've got the attachments. If we click down on the little caret, we can actually see those documents, right? Or even on here, we can just click on it and it'll open it up for us. Either way, if you click on these documents, it will preview the document for you so you can actually see it. You can choose to print it, download it, do whatever you want. Otherwise, it's going to store it in here inside of Financial Sense. Okay. Another thing that you're going to be able to see when you click on the client name, that's going to take you to what we call the client profile. Okay. Client profile is very important because it gives us a good understanding of everything happening with the client. I can look at this and off the dashboard here, I can see that we're working on their payroll. We're working on a monthly bookkeeping form for January. We're working on the 1040 return for 2024, right? I can see all that here. I can see the due dates for that. I also have my client notes. So anytime I've met with the client, any notes that I have on the client, I can actually see. This is just giving you like a quick little synopsis of it, a little snippet. But if you hit view all, or if you click on the notes section, it takes you to see all the notes that you've gathered over the lifetime of this client. You can have multiple pages if you've got more than, if you got more than what will fit on a page, you can have multiple pages so you can kind of go back and look at those. Okay. On the dashboard, you will also see the uncategorized transactions feature, which is showing you how many uncategorized transactions do we have, how many do we have that are waiting on the client, and how many are ready for us to review. Okay. These all started off as uncategorized, but then we sent the request to the client, which put them into waiting on client, right? And then once the client actually updates that, we'll see them in review. Again, we'll talk about this. Actually, let's go ahead and jump into that now. So you'll see over here, this is showing you those 3 that are waiting on the client. Because we've already shared it with the client. If I unshare this, you see that it changes back to uncategorized. Okay. And what this is doing is this is connecting to the client's QuickBooks Online account. And then this is going in and looking at the chart of accounts that we have for that client. And we're telling it which accounts we want it to look at. So it's then pulling the uncategorized transactions out of those into here so that we can then send a request to the client saying, hey, what was this transaction for? Why did you spend $5,800 at what looks like to be Best Buy, right? Or if you don't know who the vendor is, you might leave it blank. But once the client actually puts in their note inside the portal, so if we go look at the client side, right, they can come in and actually put in their notes, and then we're going to be able to see those notes listed over here, and then we can come in and actually select this and tell it who the vendor is, what the category should be, what the class should be, the tax code, the customer, or the project that we need to bill it towards, the billable status, and then any notes that we want to put in on it. Or the notes that the client sent over would also show up here as well. Once we hit save and then we approve it, all right, once we approve, it's going to update QuickBooks on our behalf, okay? The sharing piece, you can either bulk share by coming in here and just saying, bulk share, and we'll share that out, or we can auto share, which allows us to say, I don't want to have to come in here and remember to go send this request out to the client. I don't want to have to go remember to look at everything that's happened in the last week or in the last month and send out all those uncategorized transactions to the client manually. The auto share allows you to put a schedule on it and say, hey, send this out every 2 weeks on Monday, right? And send it out to the client, or send it out every week, or send it out every Monday and every Thursday, or whatever it is you want it to be, right? You can come in here and customize this really however you'd like, okay? So like in this case here, we're sending it out every week on Monday. So it knows next time it's going to send out is going to be next Monday on the 13th. So nice and simple, very easy. Okay. And then that'll automatically take these uncategorized ones out and put them in categorized. And then you can also set up auto reminders to say, hey, the client doesn't complete it within X amount of days, send out a reminder. Okay. Once the documents, once a client actually uploads or they tell you what this is, they can also attach receipts and invoices. Okay, so when they do that, and you approve this, it's going to update QuickBooks and it's going to bring over those documents along with it. Okay. And looks like someone's got a question in here. Can uploaded documents be printed to file cabinet? Make sure you guys are taking the questions and putting them in the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of those, make sure I haven't missed anything so far. But the question for Roel, can they be printed to file cabinet? You can download them directly into file cabinet, Roel. And if you'd like, you can jump on. We'll have a link in here to do a one-on-one demo as well. So you guys will be able to come in and we can show you guys exactly how that would work. So someone is asking, will all plans show the reminder to take off the tasks when completed? I'm assuming that that question came in when I was talking about on the client side, when the client uploads a document over here. So this one's already completed. Let me go back to one that's still open. So I'm assuming you meant like here, whenever I upload something, it sends this up. So on the client side, all plans will show this reminder. Not all plans will have it where it says, otherwise you'll still get reminders. Because at the end of the day, not all plans have the auto reminder function. But it will allow them to actually click that and remind them to complete that once they've completed this task. The other thing to note on this functionality, folks, is if you look like on this one here, there's this schedule time with me option. Okay. Financial Sense doesn't have a scheduling system in here for them to book meetings with you. Okay. But I do use Calendly, right? So what I did here is I asked the client to schedule time with me. And then I actually adjusted the button to actually say schedule time so that when the client clicks on it, it takes them to my Calendly page. So I'm having the button, I've got a hyperlink on the button that takes them to a different location altogether, which you can 100% use the system to do. Because maybe, I need them to go do something, but it's not going to be in Financial Sense, right? And I don't want them just uploading me documents. I want them to actually go to wherever it is I need them to go accomplish the task. This makes it a whole lot easier on the client because they don't have to remember where to go. You can put a link in there, it takes them straight to it. And then next month, it's going to actually auto request the same things. If you tell it, if this project is recurring, if you've got, let me see here. If I've got a recurring project, like say this one here, when you go look at a client task, you'll actually see that there's an option here to say this project recurs with the project. Those are usually auto checked for you. But if it's not something that you want to be recurring, it's a one-off task I have for the client for this month, just uncheck that. That way next month or next quarter or however often this project recurs, it won't ask for that again, right? But the benefit of having that, being able to recur like that, is next year when you're doing their tax return again or next month, you don't have to keep going in and putting the same things over. The system will remember what we asked for last time, so it'll ask for it again this time, right? Unless you tell it not to recur that request for the project. Okay. So let me go back and see if there's any other questions I missed. So Buck's got a question, says, can uploaded client documents be marked up with tools like TikTok Calculate and then save? You can download them and do that, Buck. We inside of our platform, it's not actually allowing you to edit them yet. That is coming in the future, though. So we will have that ability in the future. Right now, you can actually open it up on your desktop, adjust it however, and you can put it right back in the system or save it wherever you want to save it. But you are able to download those and do whatever you need to with them. Okay. So some of the other things I want to talk about, we were back over here on the client profile. So just so you guys see, there is the ability to have, the transactions piece. There's a related recent documents to see anything that has been uploaded recently. Anything that across all these projects, this is showing me what tasks I'm still waiting on the client for. So under the payroll, I've got 3 things that I need them to go complete, right? If there was anything that was still outstanding on the tax return or outstanding on the bookkeeping. Those tasks would show up here as well, right? And then I can also see any recent activities from my team on this client. So I can see where like Wesley logged time or Will created a billing record, right? So we can see all that in here. You're also going to notice over here on the far right, this is pretty stagnant where the contacts, I can have all my different contacts, their different contact information for this particular client listed here. Okay. Any contact whose email address is listed here, anytime you get an email from them or your team sends an email to them, okay, those emails are going to show up over here in the email bucket if you have your email integrated with Financial Sense, which is very helpful because as the owner of the firm, I have visibility to see the emails. If, let's say, Tosin, who's on my team, gets an email from a client, right? Even though I wasn't copied on that, because it all flows into this email bucket for the client, I'm actually able to come in here and see the emails that they sent to Tosin. However, I can make it to where Tosin can't see the emails that the client sent to me. Okay, so we do have some pretty cool functionality around that you guys will be able to come in here and check out. And again, if you got questions about this, you want to go into more depth about it, you can book a one-on-one demo with our team who will go directly into detail and show you exactly how it'll work for your firm. We do also have the About section here. This is probably one of my favorite functions of the system because most platforms will have a preset number of like fields that you can go in and you can have this information in there, but those are generally preset fields as well. So it's like usually like, oh, what's the client ID? Whatever you want it to be, or whatever it is that they've got. With us, it's actually much more customizable. You see here, I got a whole list of different things. There's a bunch of these fields here that, I've made up, right? Or that someone on my team has made up and we've entered that information about the client. So you can come in here to the edit section. You can actually manage these fields. You can manage what order they're in. You can actually create new fields if you want. So if you want to know, their kids' birth dates or their anniversary dates or, the cat's name, you can put that all in here, right? And then the only things that show up over here are the things that are actually filled out for that particular client, right? So these things have been filled out for the client. That's why you see them up. These things here have not, so they don't show up over here. So it's only the things that are relevant to that client that actually come up, and you can have as much or as little as you want for each client, right? So it makes it really nice because, again, I can put whatever information in here I want. So if I've got information that's in QuickBooks, and then I've got information that's in, UltraTax, and then other information that's over in Gusto, I don't have to go to those different systems to find that information. I can come into here and actually see all of it all at once. And it's very simple to get all this information in because I can pull that information from those other systems and then upload it all into Financial Sense and make it very simple so that when I'm importing my client list over, all this information comes over as well. And again, our team can help set that up for you guys. We could show you how that works. So if you have additional questions around that, let me know. But we'll definitely be able to help answer them, right? Now to some of the fun stuff. We got the new features that I'm really excited about that I'd like to talk about on these calls as well. So the first one being the proposal feature. Okay, so we do have billing that's built into the system. So if you now come in here and look, you can actually see there's a proposals and engagement letter functionality in here. Now what this is allowing you to do is actually come in here and create proposals for clients. You can actually select which client you want to create that proposal for, name that project, whatever you want it to be, or name that proposal, whatever you want it to be. And then you can come in here and actually pick who your signer is going to be, right? You can select the start date of that proposal. So it's either upon acceptance or upon a specific date. I'm going to go ahead and say upon acceptance. I'll go ahead and say client, I need to send out client reminders, meaning if the client has not completed accepting this after so many days, I want the system to send out the reminder. You can actually grab intro videos, and if you have a video of your firm, what you want it to be, you can actually grab that and put it in here as well. I'm going to just go into our YouTube page real quick. So let me just grab this. And I'm just copying the hyperlink and putting it right in. I can also have my intro message. I can make it say whatever I'd like. This is what the client's going to see when they first look at the proposal. You will have the ability to actually have templates on this. We're building that function out right now. Okay. You'll also go ahead and hit continue. Now you can actually see your services, and you can actually have two different types of services. You can have your one-time services, right, which is like maybe in this case, so monthly bookkeeping. Let's say that's cleanup work, right? So I can come in here and actually search for my cleanup. I can also come in and actually add other services like my recurring services, right? So this might be my actual monthly bookkeeping, right? Okay, and I can come in and adjust my pricing to whatever I want. You see here, I've got the descriptions that are already built in, so I can make it say whatever I'd like. So this one I might come in and let's say that that's $1,500 a month, right? Because I'm going to make this a recurring fee that goes out. Okay. Since I made that change, I want to go ahead and save that change to the library so I don't have to make it over and over again. So we're set up there, right? I can add in discounts if I need to. I can really make adjustments as I needed directly in here. But I go ahead and hit continue. And then now I'm actually able to say, how am I willing to accept payment? Am I willing to accept credit card, debit cards? Am I willing to accept ACH? So I'll check off, or I'll just toggle on what I'm willing to accept. I can also choose to make this required that the client enter in their payment information upon accepting the proposal. In this case, I'm not going to do that, but we'll go ahead and you can if you need to. I'll go ahead and hit continue. They can actually add in their terms and conditions in here as well. Let me grab some real quick. So let's see here. So I can actually grab those, go ahead and paste them in, or I can actually upload a file to this as well if I choose to. But we'll actually see that there. We'll go ahead and hit preview and send, and then now we can see what that proposal is going to look like on the client side, right? And when we send it out to the client, right, it now goes out on the client's end. They're going to get an email that looks like this. When they hit review and sign, it's going to take them in. They're going to see that video, and they can play the video that we put in here. They'll see that messaging we talked about. They're able to hit continue. They're able to come in here and actually see the different services. And if we had put in the information like I did here, they're actually going to be able to see, okay, on the monthly bookkeeping, here's what's included, right? And then they're actually able to see the one-time services, recurring services. There's also the ability now to add in optional services. So you can tell the system, allow the client to make this optional or not, or make this optional or not, so the client can check or uncheck if they want to add these extra services, right? But once they hit continue, in this case, I didn't make it required, but otherwise the client wouldn't be able to come in here and actually enter in their payment information. You notice on the credit card, we've added in a 3% processing fee. I set that up on the default of my account. You guys can either choose to pass that fee along, or you can actually choose to take that fee on yourself. But on the ACH, they can go ahead and enter in that information as well. They'll hit continue. They'll see the terms and conditions that we put in here, right? They're able to accept it and then sign off on the proposal. Once they accept it, it gives them a link to the portal. They're also able to see a tutorial video to see how to use the portal as well. So it shows them all that in here. And then on our side, we're going to see that that proposal has been accepted. And we're going to get notified that it got accepted so that we can go ahead and start that process. It'll automatically go ahead. If they put in their payment information and we said that it was required, it would go ahead and charge them for that service if we told it to charge upon acceptance. Otherwise, it would charge on the specific date. So some pretty cool functionality in here as well. And there's a lot more functionality that it will do, but I want to make sure that if you guys have specific questions around this, we can always do a one-on-one call and discuss those questions and see how you guys may want to use this. Cool thing about all this is all the invoices would get created. Those would also automatically go ahead and you'll see that they'll sync with QuickBooks as well, right? So when we create the invoice, it'll sync with QuickBooks. When the invoice gets paid, it'll sync with QuickBooks. And then also when you create your invoices, if you have a payment method on file for that client already, okay, you can choose to go ahead and select that payment method. So you'll notice that down here, once I build out my invoice, it'll charge the client on my behalf, right? Or I could say send it out to the client, right? And then allow them to go make payment at that whenever they're ready. Okay, so again, up to you. And again, very easy to come in here and actually add service items and come in here. You can either search for them or you can actually come in here and select them, right? Put in your amounts. Or if you have the service item already set with an amount, it'll put it in there for you. And then you can also look at the unbilled time report, see all the unbilled time that you have, right? So like say for this one's here, I can go ahead and select this and say, go ahead and create my invoice. Okay. And once you create the invoice on this, that time entry will get locked. Okay. So it will not allow your team members to mark up or adjust those times once you added it to an invoice. Even on the unbilled time or the time reporting, you're also now able to come in. I go look at a specific time frame and I look at a set of times. I can come in here and choose to lock or unlock these entries, right? So if they're locked, that means my team members cannot go in and make edits to their time, right? I can still come in here and unlock this and then go make the edit to the time, right, for them. But team members will not be able to do that. Make sense? Hopefully, can't hear you guys. So, yeah, so lots of great functionality built in there. So there is a question here. Is this available for Canada yet? It is not available for Canada. We cannot bill in Canadian dollars yet. It is only available for US as of right now, but the Canadian, we are working on that, and that should be coming out, in the near future. I can't give an exact date yet, but it is in the near future. So I know we've gone over a lot, and there's a lot more that we could talk about. Capacity management functionality, where you actually have the ability to see which employees which employees may be overloaded. You can actually look in the future and see however far out you need to for the work and see, are we going to have enough people working on these times with the projects that we have. You're also able to come in and set your capacity. If I need to come in here and look, okay, we're Blessings and she's got some issues going on here. There's too much work for her. I can come in here and actually adjust and reassign this work to other people directly in here, right? So we have all sorts of really cool functionalities that we're actually able to do within the platform if need be. But I want to leave time for some questions. So if you guys have questions, let's go ahead and start going through them and see how I might be able to help answer. So Mark is asking, is there a companion mobile app or some way for the client to submit documents via mobile, example, snapshots of receipts? So we don't have a mobile app, Mark, and that's actually done by design. We have talked to several accounting firms, right? That's how we built the platform. But we also talked to a lot of the clients of those accounting firms where they said, hey, talk to my clients, see if they gave us permission to talk to the clients, figure out, do they really want a mobile app? And the truth is they don't. Most customers don't want to have to download another app that they put on their phone and then they remember how to log into it and do all this. So what we did instead is the actual the client side of the system is actually extremely mobile friendly. Okay. And since I don't have my cell phone being shown on the screen here, what I can do is show you that as we adjust the size of our window here, okay, you'll see that as we adjust, things are going to move around. Okay. And let's move this over so I can show it a little more. Things will actually get moved all around this screen to adjust for a mobile device. Okay. And they are still able to upload documents. And when they click the upload button on their phone, it's going to say, hey, you want to use the camera to snap a picture and send it out. So it is mobile friendly, and it does allow them to use the system. They can even get text message notifications when you've uploaded something new and sent it to them, or when you've requested documents, or on the reminders, right? They can actually get text saying, hey, you still owe us this information, and it gives them a link. They click on it, takes them to the portal, sends them a verification code through text. They enter it in, and then now they're in the portal. And then they can do everything that they need to be able to do. Everything that they can do on the desktop, they're able to do on their phone very simply. So without having to go through another app, and without them having to remember to download an app or go to use the app, it just makes it so much simpler. So let's see. Are there any questions that I've missed? I know I'm not that good, guys. So if you guys have questions, please make sure we come in here and actually ask them. I'm sorry, I keep looking over here because this is where I'm seeing y'all's questions. This is where I'm actually demoing. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I won't keep you guys too long. So if there's no additional questions, okay, it looks like Buck just asked, what are any duplications between Financial Sense and Alicia? So it's a good question. I mean, there's definitely going to be some, right? Because Alicia is a customer-facing portal, right? And it's a good platform. You're going to be able to request documents through Licio as well. There's a chat function through Licio, but the primary difference, they're app-based. But the reality is, yes, there's duplications between, hey, I can request information from Licio and then get it in. Within Financial Sense, the difference is when the client uploads you the document, it's sitting right where you're doing your work, right? So the client uploads a document to me. I'm actually able to come in here. I'm actually able to see anything that they've uploaded, and I can actually see it as I'm doing my work. It's a bad example because that one hadn't been sent out, or they haven't uploaded anything yet. Let's see. There we go. So on this one here, where I can actually see, okay, I'm working on this, right? If I need to look at the document for that, I can actually click on it and actually open that document right up, right? So I can open it up right here, preview it, see whatever I need to see, right? Download it, print it, do whatever I need to do with it. Licio, you're not in the work, right? And it's not managing the workflow. So it's not really the same. Licio is more of the communication with the client on the front of the house. This is more handling the back of the house work, as well as the communicating with the client and getting the information that you need. So hopefully that answers that. If you want more in depth, we can talk about it on a one-on-one. So looks like Tosin just launched the poll, so we'll go ahead and if you guys want to answer the poll there. If you guys do want to see a personalized demo of the system, we can definitely set up a one-on-one with one of our account managers and you guys to help answer those questions and go into detail with you guys. We'll give it just another second. There we go. All right, guys. So if there's no additional questions, I won't keep you guys for no reason. Okay. Well, looks like someone may have asked a question in the chat. Bobby Joe, yeah, you will be able to rewatch this. So Scene will send out a recording of it. Good. So someone's asking, how do I troubleshoot when I share the client file and they say they did not receive it? So Rose, I'm assuming that means you sent the request to the client, or you've either sent them documents to the client. So you'll actually be able to see whether or not, like if I come in and look at a client, I go to the client task reports, I can actually see when something was sent. Was it complete? Is it pending? If it is pending, what's the due date on it? When was the next reminder sent out or set up to be going out? And in this case, this one's unscheduled. So this one, I might actually come in here and go look at that and say, okay, let me go schedule that to go out, right? Either send it out now or go ahead and schedule it to go out, like, maybe tomorrow or something. Right. So if I schedule it to go out tomorrow, when we go back and look at that same report, nope. Sure I did on the right one. Nope, that was this one here. So now it's scheduled to go out. So when we actually go look at that report, we're going to see it's scheduled to go out on the 9th. So we can actually see what's going out, and we can see if the client's actually gone in and looked at it. So you'll be able to see that in here, and the system, again, will set up automatic reminders as well. So you're not going to be able to see if they opened it, but you will be able to see if they logged into the system. We are actually going to be releasing a function fairly soon that's going to allow for you to actually have an understanding of, hey, when was the last time they logged in? What did they look at? Like, you'll have an audit trail of what was going on, what the client did in the portal, so you can actually see what was going on with it. So, and yeah, you'll be able to see if the client viewed it or if they didn't, and what they've done. So you'll be able to see all that. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time again. Hopefully this was beneficial. Please let me know if it was. Again, feel free to reach out to us. I'll put a link in here in just a second. Or Simone, if you can, grab the link for the demo. So if you guys want to book a demo with one of our account managers are very knowledgeable. They can go through and actually show you on your specific instance how everything can work. And it won't take nearly as long. So appreciate y'all's time today, and y'all have a wonderful day. I'll put that link in there in just a second. All right, and there we go. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day.